All right, so let's start with saved image boards. Every Trellis user gets saved image boards. So if you go to your settings over here on the left-hand side, and then you go to themes and templates, and you go to image board gallery. These are automatic image boards that are loaded with your account. And you can use these or you can create your own. We do a lot of creating of our own, and I'm going to take you guys through that today. But these are all ones that you can use. If you hit the little plus sign right here, you can save them to your account, okay? For instance, and it'll save with this name. So for instance, if I click on this right here, it's going to save as this name in my saved image board gallery. So I'm going to click save, okay? But okay, so now I'm going to go back out to settings, and I just showed you saved image boards, but the image board gallery, that's going to consist of image boards that that you saved from the gallery. Wait, am I on the wrong saved image boards? Yeah, that you saved. Bear with me one second. The saved image boards are ones that you saved from the gallery, as well as ones that you've created. Okay, so the one that I just saved right here is called Another Collage. You can get in here and rename it. So you can click on it, edit title, description, and you can call it Fall Mood Board or Image Board, whatever you want to call it. Okay, and hit save. And if you go to your saved image boards, it's now saved as, it's in alpha order here. So it is now saved as Fall Mood Board right there, okay? And you can make little adjustments to that, and I'll go through that later. I'm going to try to stay in order. So I wanted to kind of explain how we do it. What I do for Courtney Lambert Floral and Event Design, we have certain ones that we've created and saved. And every proposal that goes out gets a cover page and gets a design elements page, okay? So this is set 1, this is set 2, wait, I'm sorry, that's set 2, that's set 3, that's set 4, and that's it. We just have 4. We also have one called Designer Collections, and we actually sell like lower priced, I hate to call them packages, but we call it Designer Collections, where people, if they just want to order more a la carte and don't want, you know, full custom design or design services, we have an image board for that as well, a template for that. Okay. Just to show you a couple of them, I'm going to go, I saved some up here, so I'm going to show them to you. Whoops. So these ones that get one page, these are designer collections. They're a lot more simple. And then it just goes into, you know, we just have one cover page for those. Anybody in our who's custom floral gets the 2. They get the cover page and design elements page. But you can create these any way you want. But you can see these are a little more standard. Okay. This is more for an event design client, and this is a custom board that we created, and I'll show you some of these in a second. But these are templates that we've created. We've also auto-populated some of the information from the event. I'll show you how to do that as well. But I do think image boards, this is for an upcoming wedding, Halloween, very black and dark. We also put extra pages in there, which I will go through as well and show you how to do these. We dump floor plans in here as well as Canva boards, okay? I'm just gonna kind of take you through some of these. We put color palettes on all of them. We put the rentals in there and whatnot. And then it just kind of flows right into the main body of the proposal, which is the event details information, as well as the event items. Okay. Let me show you just a couple more. This is a recent one we just did. I don't know why this one doesn't have it. Oh, it doesn't. Oh, because we did not do it. This is custom floral, no event design, so it doesn't have all those extra pages. But I'm going to walk you guys through doing some of these. This is another one we just did too, which was full event design. Okay. Okay. Let let's see here. So let's go back over here. You can do a couple of things. Like I said, you can load in the a saved image board from the image board gallery, or you can create your own. Okay. In order to create your own, and I'll do a real quick and dirty sample for you here, you just select new image board and you can load one of your saved ones and tweak it. Okay. Or you can create a whole new one. Okay, and I'm going to create a new one so you can see how to do it. It's called, let's call it Courtney's Test, and today is 7/7/26. Okay, you can put your own grids in there. There are preset grids where you can choose like any of these configurations. Okay, or you can create your own, which I find a little more difficult, but I'm not going to go through this because you can get in there and create your own, you know, like you can create your own columns, rows, however you want to do it. And this part gets a little confusing. You got to kind of play around with it, but I recommend selecting one of these preset boards, okay, and then go to continue from there. You can also start with a blank too. So like, let me show you that. No grid. Preset. Oh, it's keeping. I got to get all the way out. Okay. Well, since this is working, let's select one of the preset boards. Okay. We're going to go with one of these. Yeah. And hit continue. Okay. And we're calling it Courtney's Test. You can put details in there if you want. I usually don't. And hit save. And then it's going to pop you right to your new image board. Okay. A lot of the things you might want to add here are things that we add, like the name and date of the event, your logo, whatever. So I'm going to show you how to add frames. If you click on add frame and say, for instance, you want your logo right here, you can adjust the size of this however you like. Hit save. You always have to save your changes, but then you'd click on this and you'd go to add change image. And you would select, where are logo files? There it is right there, logo. Okay, so I'm going to select my logo, hit continue, and then I'm going to come over here and say fit frame. Or I might make it a little bigger and skinnier and hit fit frame. And then you can move your logo right up here. And then you can also say size frame to image size, so you get rid of these extra gray lines. They're right there, okay? Now, now you've got your logo, you've branded this. You might want to put event information rather than what you might want to do is shrink the size of these a little bit. Move it down like so. Okay. Right there, and now it's overlapping, but I'll fix that. Okay, and you might want to hit save changes and then add in your event information. So you can add a frame. Okay, stretch it across the top, however you want it in there. And then you can click on add edit text, and you can put in here event reference name, and you might want to center that and maybe change the font to your special font. All these fonts are tied to themes that you already have. Okay, so hit save changes. Okay, the other thing we like to do too is to put in color palettes. So let's see here. Yeah, so I want to show you guys how to do that as well if you're creating your own board. Now, the color palettes are a little more dicey. They take a little more time to create. I'm also going to even this out a little bit because little things like that make me crazy. And hit save changes. Now this one's got to go up a little bit. Okay, so let's put a color palette in. So how you start with color palettes is you got to add a frame, okay? And then you take this frame and create it however you want. Like there's a whole section in here where you can change the shape. So corner rounding, 50%. We're going to make them circles. Okay. So now I've got them. I got this one as a circle. It disappears. So sometimes it's good to put a background color in there just so you can find it again. Save changes. Or what I do in mine is I put gray in there so that I know that there's no color. You know, there's not a color in there. Okay. Save changes. Then you can find the little shape again. So you got your circles. Circle's a little big. You might want to shrink it a little. Okay. And then, and this is like quick and dirty. I would do this a lot more painstakingly if this were a real thing. But what I would do so that all my color, and actually we got to bring this to the front. Layer, top. Okay. I don't know if you saw, but you can change the stacking order of things. But what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to duplicate it. Okay. I'm going to hit duplicate. And we usually only do 6 colors or 5. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. And then you're going to spread them out. Okay. Like so. Okay. Now, here's another thing. You can see that these are not lined up. That would drive me crazy. But what you can do to get them lined up is you can click in a bubble, and T, I say, is tall, L is longitude. So what I want these all at the same height. So I'm going to hit 900. Oh, no, actually, I'm going to go 850 because that just bounced it off the page. And we want them all 850. And once you create this, you don't have to do it again. That's the beauty of it. And like I said, you don't have to do this at all. You can use the saved ones, but this is kind of a deep dive on how to create your own. 850, 850, and 850. I should just copy and paste that. I will. Okay. You can also see, oops, that they are not aligned, like there's not an even amount of space between them. So what you would do is you would take this one and call it 205. Okay. And then every single one looks like it's about 95 away. So we're going to say I'm sorry, wait a minute, 85 away. So we're going to make this one 290, if this makes sense. Now they're evenly spaced, and you would just keep adding. So to 290, you'd add 80, which would make it 37. Did I say that right? Did I say 90 or 80? Anyway, let's try 380. Nope. 205, 290. I'm not good at mathing on the fly. So anyway, I'm going to skip that for now, but I'm not going to line all these up because it would take forever. But that is how you would do it. You would have to use an even number to space in between each color bubble. And you know, it doesn't take time once you've got it set up, and then you have to save your changes. Okay. But like, say for instance, you don't want the color bubbles, you know, overlapping your pictures, you'd have to rearrange these as well. Okay. And then maybe this is a skinny picture like so. Okay. Okay. So basically that's how you create your own custom image board. I find it easier to use the ones that exist, but we also did go in there and create our own, because you can see this isn't perfect. When I create them for myself, they are perfect. We make sure they're perfect because, you know, it's the first thing our clients see once we send this to them. But you can also, one of the things I want to say about the frames, they don't have to all be for images. You can insert words, you can insert colors. You can, and I'm going to show you later how to insert pictures. I showed you how to insert logos, all kinds of things. So let's do this. Let's take this image board and show you how to load it into an event. And this is called Courtney's Test. So I'm going to go to my events and go to a dummy event, Smith. Okay. And this is one I use all the time. This is kind of a dummy event. But if you look at the preview now, you can see that it already has an image board in there. That's an old test event that I have in there. But let's load in the image board I just created. So what you would do is you'd go to Proposal. You'd click on New Image Board. And you're going to load the saved one you just went, that we just created. So there it is, Courtney's Test 7726. Okay. We're going to hit save, and it's going to take us right to that board. Okay. And one of the things that you can set up in all your templates is to have all your color bubbles already linked to color palettes, to any color palette. But because this is a brand new board, we have to link them. And it's good if you're creating a new board to know how to do that. So basically, if I go to design and color palettes, I can see that I have a bunch of color palettes in here. I can delete these or I can add more. So I'm going to add a saved one, and they're called swatch cards now, but I think in new Trellis, we're going to call them color palettes. Let's put in Monet. Oh, actually, Monet's already in there. Let's put in Coastal Shores. Oh, that one doesn't have one. Let's put in Autumn Boho. Okay, and we'll hit save. Oh, we got to name it. It always has to be named. And you can call it Autumn Boho, or you can call it, Sue's Winter or Fall Wedding Palette. You can call it whatever you want. Okay, and save. Okay, so that is now in there. What the color bubbles are going to do, it's going to pick up the color palette on the top. So if we go to one of these, what we have to do is link these to the color palettes. And how you do that is you select the first bubble. And you don't have to do this every time. Keep in mind, this is already done in the image board gallery that exists. But if you're creating your own, you do have to do it. So use color palette number 1. Use color palette number 2. Select the next one. 3. Select the next one. 4. Select the next one. 5. And select the next one. 6. Okay. Hit save changes. Okay. Now it's selected the color palette that's on top. If you want to use the Autumn Boho that we just did, what you have to do is go to your event menu, go to the design section, click on design elements. Oh, I'm sorry. Wrong. Go back. Event menu, design, color palettes. And if you want Autumn Boho, you have to take it and slide it to the top. Okay, then you can see it just changed all those colors, and now we got the Autumn Boho colors. But say the client changes their mind and they want to go with spring colors, then we got to move one of these to the top. And you can see it changes those colors. Okay, let's see here. Okay, so I want to show you how this is going to look in the image board. Okay, so it should have event reference name here, but if we go to, oh, actually, let me show you one more thing first. If you want this as your cover page, what you have to do is go to Proposal, Edit Layout, and you got to take this and move it to the top. Okay, hit save. This is an account that I test a lot. That's why there's so much junk in it. But if you go to Smith Wedding, you now hit preview. You can see that it moved this one to the top. Okay. Now let me show you how to add in images. Okay. Well, let me go back over here. So if you go to Proposal and you select that image board, You can add more than one image at a time. You can add one image at a time, however you want to do it. But I'm going to add more than one image at a time. So you click and hold down your shift key and you click all the boxes. And there are 3, 4, 5, 6. And then you go to add change images and we can select whichever ones we want here. I'm just going to select any old ones. Okay, so we'll put this in. We'll put, that'll be my skinny picture, although I don't know what order they're going to put them in. We'll put this in. We'll put this in. This might be the skinny picture. Put that in. This. And it tells you how many you've selected. So like if I unselect this picture, I've got 5 out of 6. I got one more to select. Hit continue and it fills them all in. I can see that this is blurry, so I'm going to change this out. Add change image. I'm going to pick maybe this. Oh, that's bad too. Add change image. And let's go with this. Okay. And then you hit save changes. Okay. So then you have your images in there. And pretty much one of the reasons we do like the cover page and the design elements page is because when we first meet with a client, we want them to be wowed by the our image boards. So your image boards, you got to use good pictures. You got to use you know, it's just got to be showy. And then you don't have to do as much work on the back end until they're booked. That's what we figure. Okay. So now if I go to my print preview, which I think is this one right here, and it puts the Smith wedding up there, by the way, it pulled that auto information in and I hit refresh. I can see the images that are in there. Okay. So I showed you how to load an image board into an event. One thing I wanted to say about color palettes and image boards is that once you load them into an event, it's saved with that event. If you have to go in here and change this color, this blue or this green or the pink or whatever, it's not going to change it retroactively. It won't change it in your saved image boards or your saved color palette. So if I wanted to tweak this color because they wanted hot pink, I could just do one of two things. I can click this. Actually, let me do it this way. I can go to event menu, design, color palettes, and then I'm going to open this up, click on the pink, and make it a darker pink. You can use this slider to do that. Okay, and if I hit save, it will automatically update that in this event, not in the saved color palette. So if I go to use this color palette again, it's going to be whatever's saved in there. Okay. Another way you can do this too is click on the circle. I'm sorry. You'd go to color palettes and you'd click on the little eyedropper. And what you want to do is click this one and say you want this specific pink that's in this flower. You can copy it and hit save. And then it changes it. Sometimes the color dropper doesn't pick up, it picks up on a little pixel, but say I want a brighter pink. Maybe go in here. Save. So you can pick up on colors within your images that you're using as well. Okay. Okay. Yes. Sure. Sure. Good question. These are all ones that when we're working with a client and they gave us their inspiration, we try to use our images, but if we haven't done something like that, because it's custom, we might go out to the web and save them to our image library. These are not pre-existing pictures. In fact, new clients have to load in their own pictures. They don't have to load in their whole library of flowers, but they have to load in their own pictures. Okay. Okay, so we did editing color palettes. I hope that answered it. The other thing I wanted to show you all on this is you can set these up not just as mood boards, you can use them to reference the flowers you're using. You can use them to reference the rentals you're using. So I'm going to load in a board proposal, new image board, and I'm going to select a saved one that we use for ceremony personal flowers inspiration. Okay, hit save. Oh, wait, that's not it. New image board. It is, let me see if I can find it. Oh, it's this one. Floral inspiration, possible varieties used in event, rental inspiration. I'll put both of these in. Save. Okay. So you can change these out, but I'm going to add one more image board here. And we'll put rentals. I just want to show you guys how this works because this is a good way to showcase it. You don't have to do it like this. This is just another option. It's A. Okay. And save. Okay. So basically what we've done here is we've taken rentals that we're going to use in their event, potential vases, potential candles, furniture, whatever, and we put those in there as well. If we have a high maintenance design client who wants to see all that. What I can do is go over here and change these based on the pinned items. So if I say I'm not going to use all these grasses, I would click this first bubble here, hold down shift, click, 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 click. Hopefully I have enough pinned. And then I'm going to do add change images. I'm going to select from my pinned flowers. That's all I have pinned. Continue. So normally we have a lot more flowers pinned, but you can see how that works. You save the changes, and these are the potential flowers you might use. Let's just say it's a smaller wedding or it's green, white, and pink, and you're not going to use all these. What you can do is hold down shift while selecting these ones you don't need. Go to delete. Gets rid of them, and then you can select all of these by holding down shift. Whoops. Here, I didn't want to shift. And if you want these centered on the page, you can do center horizontally and center vertically, which I just did, and hit save. Okay. Typically, when we send out a quote, we put some verbiage in those top image boards to give the feel of the event, and that's it. We don't usually recipe it before because we feel like the heavy lifting is being done by not only our cover page, but the images we include and whatnot. One other thing I want to show you real quick though is these extras. So if you go to settings, saved image boards, these are ones that we've created, 7, 8, and 9 here. I put them in order. If we need extra ceremony inspiration. So we call this ceremony inspiration, and we'll load this into our event. If we need extra, like we have a client that's all over the place, and we need to just capture a lot, or we don't want to pigeonhole ourselves into one design. We want to give a look and feel, so extra personal flowers inspo, so on and so forth. The nice thing about these saved image boards is you can save them any way you want. You can create image boards that represent seasons. You can have a template image board for summer, winter, fall, spring, holiday, however you want it done. You can have color themes, jewel tones, boho naturals, coastal blues, mixed pinks, sunset, etc. So you can create all these different ones. You can create them out of the same board if you want to use the same one over and over again, or out of any of the templates and tweak those. You can change your background colors and whatnot. one of the things I want to show you is how to save your image board. Say you create an image board in an event and you tweak it and you love it. Okay. So let's go back to Smith. Okay. And let's go to proposal. And let's go to this one. So this is a test. Let's say I love this. Okay. What you can do is click on add to saved boards and you can say my favorite, whatever you want to call it. And you save that one and you say, I'm going to use this one over and over and over again. And the nice thing about that is you've already linked the color bubbles. Once you save this and you load it into a new event, if you've selected, as you select a color palette, it's going to automatically link it to those color bubbles because they're linked. So I'm going to hit save and I'm going to go to saved image boards. Okay. So my favorite should be down here. And now it's going to save it with all the pictures in it. You can save them with pictures in it or without. Where is my favorite? There it is. So this one's saved with the images in it. So like, for instance, for our collections, we put in preset images because they don't have as much choice. With custom, they're all blank because we're going to put in custom designs. We're going to customize it to what they like. If you change it when it's in your event, I'm going to say this again, it will not change the original. This, even if we kept the name the same as was what I had it before, if it's linked into an event and you make changes, it's still not going to change the original. Same with the color palettes. Okay. I do find the more information you put in here, the more you have it ready to go, the more time it saves in just getting proposals out the door. Let me see if there's anything else. Oh, yeah, I already talked about the high maintenance clients. So basically, that's kind of it in a nutshell. We're happy to help you with your image boards. We're looking, and I'm making no promises to see if we can interact with Canva, but that is something for no promises there. And then what we do is we take some of our more difficult images that we have to put together, like digital renderings and stuff like that, and we do them in Canva and drop them in here. So all I have to do, I'll show you one. Let's go to a high maintenance one. Yeah. Perfect. Okay, I'll be real quick. I'm wrapping up. So basically, these are Canva drop-ins. We'll put like rentals and stuff like that. The rentals they choose, that we take screenshots and drop them in. And one other thing I wanted to refer you to, if you wanted to kind of do a deep dive, if you are in settings and you go to image board gallery, you can click this little question mark right here. And there's a plethora of information in here on image boards, but we can help you too. So that's it. That's about it in a nutshell. That was fast, I think.